Hello.
Hello.
I'm on my different phone today, so
So we'll see.
yeah. It's my new one. I've never actually used it for this. It's
Oh,
a it's a Galaxy S23 or something.
oh
It's
okay.
supposed to have a really nice front facing camera, but I don't
I
usually
don't.
use it.
Right. I don't know enough about differences that I'd probably be able to tell. Other than I'll be able to tell how secure the connection is. That's about it.
Right. Yeah, no, I usually use my old Note 9 and it works just fine. And then that way I don't have to use my phone while I'm on it. So I don't know
Right.
what would happen if somebody tried to call or something.
I from experience with other people, I think usually, um, if they like click off of this at all, I can still hear them. They're still in the call. Their just picture just usually disappears until they go back into it. So like when I have people click out to like check their calendar or check I don't know their note tab or whatever,
Right.
it just temporarily gets rid of the video, but it doesn't typically hang out.
Nice.
But a phone call, I'm not sure because
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's too late now because I wouldn't be able to get on the internet if I put it on airplane mode. But that's probably what I should do. Is put it on airplane mode and then the internet. But if I put it on airplane mode, I think it'll turn the internet off real quick. So
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
yeah, so we'll just find out. I'm not that popular, but I do get a lot of spam. You know.
We'll find out, I guess. How was your 4th?
Oh, it was good. I didn't. Every year we buy like $1,000 worth of fireworks, and this year, like my daughter wasn't coming down, so we didn't. And it was like the whole neighborhood decided to stay home and light off fireworks, and so it was crazy. Like, and they're all aerials, like big, like finale. Like it was crazy. It went until like 11:30. I always feel
Right?
I always feel bad for the dogs. My dogs aren't scared, but I know a lot of
Right.
people's are, and so I always,
Yeah, mine are chicken.
yeah, it sucks because they're scared for like a week afterwards.
At least a week, because the first day I heard fireworks was last Wednesday. So, and Friday there was an insane amount. I was like, are we saving them for the 4th? At least in my neighborhood. Friday was so many fireworks, and then someone's firework. I'm assuming there was a fire in the field behind Chubbuck Elementary.
Go, that's crazy.
I don't know how many people know there was a fire. I live on the same street as Chubbuck Elementary, so I heard sirens, and there had been big ones going up in the air, like right over the school for probably a good half hour, and it was almost midnight. So I was like, well, maybe someone like called and complained. And I stepped out on my porch just to see if someone was getting like busted or something, and then I saw flames, and I was like, oh, well, that's not good.
Yeah, not cool.
They seem to have responded fast and got it out fast, luckily, but I was like, yeah, I would imagine a firework caused that. I can't think of what else would have randomly caused a fire in the field, especially since that's where I was seeing the fireworks.
Yeah.
But other than that, last night was way more tame than I expected. I thought last night might still be people like getting rid of all their leftovers, and there definitely were, but it wasn't nearly as crazy as I thought it might be.
I keep my leftovers till New Year's.
Ah.
And this New Year's was warmer. I mean, obviously it's January in Idaho, but it's warmer than it had been the last couple. It was like 10 or something, and usually it's 10 below, and so it was awesome. Like we were out there all night, and all the kids came over, and so there was like 10 kids over, and so we had a small party, and then we just launched fireworks at midnight for about 20 minutes. My neighbors, like, I live over, I don't know what side of town you would call this. Almost out by Simplot, kind of.
Okay.
On that side, and there's like, it's old neighborhoods. I'm talking like old, like my grandma was born on 2 streets away in 1923.
Wow.
And anyways, it's just a older neighborhood, and all the lots are like acreage. Like, these lots are ginormous, and
right.
And so the closest neighbor is, 200 feet, or so. So almost, half a football field length at
right.
each one, and you just keep going. So 2 neighbors away, it's a full football field away, And so
right.
it's kind of cool. And then my neighbor next door passed away like 5 years ago, and her brother owns the house, but he doesn't do anything with it. So, and he's like 90 years old. So it just sits empty, that one. And so I take care of that lot for him. And then my neighbors across the street, they bought that from their parents. They're like 19, 20 years old. Like, just kids. They care less if you're shooting fireworks off. And then my neighbors next door to me the other direction are my age, with kids my kids' age, and it's just so, like, everybody on the street is either my age and have kids that are my kids' age, or the houses are empty. And so it's just, you can party anytime you want to, and no one cares. Like,
that's fair.
They race motorcycles up and down the road constant. I mean, just brah, brah. I got go-karts, and I'm like, here, like, take the go-karts out. They're all up and down the street.
That's probably pretty cool to have that much kind of space.
Yeah, what I don't like about it is having to take care of it all the time. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. It's like, I don't even use half of it, the yard, or actually more than half. And, and it all grows up into weeds and everything. And then I got to go back there, and usually I just burn it, like I back burn. So I go to the other side and burn towards my house, because I have green grass, so it's not going to burn that. So
right. Yeah, the maintenance part I don't even have to take care of a yard right now because I'm in an apartment. So, but I know it happens fast. Like, even just our yard where I'm not responsible, I get annoyed because I'm like, okay, property management, the grass is like a foot tall now. Maybe come out and do that.
Yeah.
It happens fast.
It does.
This time of year.
Especially in the spring, yeah.
But I guess the price you have to pay to have enough property to have chickens and all that stuff.
Yeah. Get a goat, let it go back there and just eat it all. I've thought about it. But
goats are pretty fun, actually.
Yeah, I love all animals, so I'm kind of a weirdo.
I don't think it's that weird. But goats just have funny personalities. We had goats when I worked at the children's home. I don't remember how many we started with, and then every year they were reproducing, so who knows how many they have now.
Right.
But it was hard not to like them, because they all had their own little unique personalities. And
my chickens.
They could be kind of troublemakers.
It's kind of cool. Like, I think they'd be okay with my chickens, because they're just barnyard animals. Like, I think people have goats with chickens. I don't know. They seem pretty violent when, you don't want a puppy with a goat, because they want to ram them all the time. But I think once they get to a certain age, the dog can handle itself, and then. So I've definitely thought about it.
Or just see if there's one of those ones where you rent the goats long enough to have them eat it. I feel like there was something like that in Kuna, I swear, where you could like, oh yeah, we'll put the goats in here.
I'm sure there are. I don't know if they do it here because I haven't ever seen it, but I've seen it. There's this guy on the internet. He has like 200 goats, and he has a couple trailers and another, and his wife or whatever, and they just load up those trailers, and somebody will pay him for 2 days, or he'll say, oh, that'll take a week or whatever, and they're like, and he's like, it's $1,000, and they're like, oh, perfect, and then he just takes them over there, opens it up, makes sure there's a fence around it, he walks the perimeter, lets them go, and comes and gets them in a week, and it's empty.
That seems like it would be a nice
They
puzzle.
even eat like saplings, like they eat everything.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, like I thought about it. I was like, it'd be kind of cool to get 50 goats. I don't know about all at once. I don't want 50 babies, but
yeah, that might be a bit intense. So, were you able to work up the motivation towards any? Like last week, you said, "Oh, I kind of forgot about that ice bath kind of thing and doing that, and I kind of forgot about doing the muscle relaxation, and maybe I'll look up the CBT book or start going through that again."
Yeah, I found it, and then I still haven't done any of that stuff. But I have been exercising.
Okay.
I did hurt my knee, but it's kind of weird. I didn't hurt it doing anything. I don't know what's wrong with it. I had injured it before, and I thought it was better. But anyways, all I did, I don't even know if this makes sense, but have you ever like kneeled down on your bed?
I mean, probably.
Right?
I don't know.
So I was getting on the couch, and I have a kind of a nicer, it's kind of a bigger couch. And so what I do is I kneel on it, and then kind of like fall back into it, and then kick my feet down, so I lay down. And that's all I did, was I just kneeled on it, and it just it was like pain, like agonizing pain throughout the whole knee, like it dislocated or something. I don't know how she would describe it. Like, so somehow at the joint, when I pushed on it, it stretched things out or whatever it did. I didn't do it hard, and I didn't do it fast, so it wasn't like a popping or anything. I just barely kneeled on it, and I felt it, so I stopped, and I was fine. It was on the 4th, and I was fine afterwards. And then I woke up on the 5th, and it was so stiff I couldn't move. It hurt. And then today it's been kind of
So you might have flared up an old injury?
Yeah, but I don't even know what causes that movement. I guess I'd have to look and see what each ligament does or whatever, but it kind of feels like it's the outside of my knee. I don't know which one that is. Arterial, is that the ACL?
I have no idea. I used to have to know like all the muscles in certain parts. Like I probably at one point knew that because I went to a medical magnet middle school where they made us like memorize medical stuff. But that was a lot of years ago, and I don't remember any of it. I mean, I know one of the main ones in there is the ACL because that's the one you hear about athletes injuring all the time.
Yeah.
And I know there's like the meniscus is like the kneecap-ish thing, right?
No, that's on the side. That's a patella. That's a patella.
The patella's the knee. Yeah. There you go.
The meniscus is on the inside.
I know that's just another one I've had people that were athletes damage.
Yeah. So I just got
a high number of people that messed up their knees with sports.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. But anyways, I was gonna. Eventually I'll get it looked at and see if they can't fix it, because it's kind of if I can't kneel on something soft because it pushes it weird, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that seems like there'd be something deeper underneath that, possibly. So how does that work when you need to go to the doctor? Do you have one that's just in your circle that you're comfortable with, or?
No, I have one that comes to me though.
Oh, okay.
So I've had actually 3 different ones now, but my first 2 were guys, and that was fun. You know, like I never even thought about it. But then my new one is a girl, and she's like very attractive, and so it's super weird. Like I don't know how else to describe. You know, like because obviously if you're a dude, you don't want to be like vulnerable. You know what I mean? So it's like, now good, everything's good. I'd call her up and be like, hey, look, I think my knee fell off. Is there anything we can do? But I'm like, nah, I'll just tape it up. It's fine.
That's how things get worse.
Oh, I know. Nothing they can do for it right now, anyways. I'm not going to any surgical centers. Those are all up on the other side of town. So.
No. Sometimes just getting one of those knee wraps or braces and using it temporarily helps a little.
Yeah, I got one or a couple. I just have to go look for them. Like I said, I was kind of waiting to see, and I can walk quasi normal as of about 25 minutes ago. So I can. It was weird when I was walking. I could kind of feel the relief in it, and it felt kind of almost like cold around it, like not like a bad way, but like a relief, like a pressure release, because I was using it, and I was just like, oh, thank goodness, you know, like. So it's getting better. It's just like, what the hell? Why would that happen? You know, all I did was kneel down on a cushion.
I don't know. That's an odd one to me.
So
usually, it would have to have some sort of underlying thing that messes up. But then again, we all have our occasional where I'm like, I've woken up before and been like, oh, I can barely move. My back hurts so bad. What the heck did I do overnight?
Yeah.
So sometimes things are wonky, but everything you can do at home is basically like the brace if it feels like it needs some support and ice and heat.
Yeah, my neck in May of last year, so it's been a year now. I just woke up one day and I turned real quick. Like I used to turn violently in bed, so I'd put my head down and flip my body around.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that, and it like on this up from the trapezius, just right there into the neck. It fully went into spasms. I mean, like, it was the worst pain I can imagine feeling. Now, I have felt pain worse, so it's the second worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And I couldn't even exist, if that makes any sense. Like, I wasn't panicky because it hurt too bad to panic. But I went upstairs and I was like, it wouldn't stop, the pain, and it was radiating. And so I went down to my knees, and when I went down to my knees, I leaned my head forward just a little bit. And when I did that, my whole, it stopped the pain. So I knew that I could have relief, but then I was like, so the only thing I can do is kneel down and lean my head forward? Like, holy shit, this is going to be a shitty week, you know? Because when that happens, there's no way you're getting over it in one day, you know? When it's locked up like that. And so I got in my chair, and I had to like hold my head, and then I put my head back, and that was a recliner, and I just sat there. And I just dreaded having to go to the bathroom, or I was just like, I'm not going to drink any water. I'm not going to eat any food, like, until this is better. And it took like 4 days, but the first 2 were terrible, and then after that, I was fine. You know, I could move it a little bit. But what I did learn, and this has something to do with therapy. That's why I'm bringing it up. What I did learn during the process is if you relaxed into the pain, it would lower it. Because the whole time you're flexing because you don't want it to hurt, so you're doing everything you can to not move it.
Right.
And so, which is causing it more stress, but you don't realize that you're doing that. So when it would start to throb, you've had a calf cramp before, right? That wakes you up.
Yeah.
It's that, but in my neck, and it wouldn't go away. That's what it was. It was the exact same thing. But anyways, yeah, it was right there, almost right behind my ear on my neck. And it would just, like I said, it would radiate. And if I would relax into the pain, it would subside. But see, so in therapy, if whatever you're uncomfortable with, if you relax into it, you realize that the fear, the anxiety that you're having is a tool to keep you safe from a perceived danger. It's not a problem. But we look at it as it's the problem. I have severe anxiety, and so I can't do anything. But it's like, no, the anxiety is your tool that's keeping you from doing something that you're uncomfortable with. So the trick is to relax into the thing, and then your anxiety will come down.
Right.
If you relax. But if you're all tense, if you're all tensed up, the word stress is literally what it means. If you put a whole bunch of liquid through a pipe, it puts stress on it, and the more pressure you put in there, eventually that pipe's going to rupture.
Right.
Because it can't handle the stress.
So anything where you're tensing up your muscles, that in and of itself activates the sympathetic nervous system and tells your body, oh, we're in danger, we're not safe. Right. So
run away.
As simple as relaxing your muscles sounds, it's easier said than done, but I mean, people have shown that if people go through the same experience, one in a relaxed muscle state and the other in a tense muscle state, the tense muscle is going to get stored more as trauma and I don't want to experience this again than the relaxed muscle.
Right. And the other thing that you can do for that same exact system is double inhale. So you do a double inhale and then an exhale.
Right.
Do 2 or 3 of those.
Technically, that's what the ice water and things like that can activate too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've never done it like going full into an ice bath. I don't think I'm that brave, but I've done the like shot of cold at the end of the shower, like in your face, the cold water.
Yeah. The LDS church in my ward or whatever, right over here, they have where I'm at my ward. Anyways, they have really good dudes around, and then they take the young men, whatever you call them, up to that new center up there by Highland, whatever, where they have the concerts and stuff. There's
the wellness complex?
Yeah, the wellness complex. They built a pond up there. And so they go out on that, and then they cut the ice in the winter out, and then they get in it as one of their activities on like a Tuesday night. And then they do a big fire, and then like they've been doing it since they opened that. And like this year, this January or whatever, the police came and they're like, you can't have a fire here. They're like, oh, we do it every year. So now they took a fire pit. They're going to take a fire pit in the future. So you're still not supposed to do it, but I mean, what are they going to do? The cops usually don't bother the Mormons too much, and the chief of police is a Mormon, so I know him very well, Roger Shy.
That is fair.
Like, what would you
But yeah,
rather him do? All the young men out doing drugs, or having a fire?
you know, I figured they probably don't pay that much attention to it because the aerial fireworks are also technically illegal in city limits.
Yeah, they were driving down the street, and people are literally lighting them in front of the cop car. He's driving down the street, and then they launched up in the air, and so he just stopped and watched. And then after he just drove down the road, I was laughing.
Right? Yeah, we had a cop car come down our street, and then was in the parking lot of the school for a little bit, and then it turned around and left, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
They might have just been making sure people weren't setting them off from the school, given that there was just a fire there because of it.
Right.
I don't know, but I don't know how much they could do. It'd be very difficult. It's kind of one of those collective, okay, well, it's against the law, but also, are we going to track down every single person that's setting them off? Probably not.
No, and then they sell them on the reservation just down the street, and so it's an endless supply. What could you do? Can you imagine how full the jails would be? You know,
right? Deep pressure is good for anxiety and humans too. I mean, I did it for the dog. I finally got one of those. I think it's just called a thunder shirt or whatever, but it's basically like a deep pressure wrap them up thing.
Did it help at all?
I think it did, actually. I wasn't sure if it would, but I mean, was she like, oh my gosh, I love this holiday now? No. But she had times where she actually would come out of the bathroom and wag her tail and take a treat. And the couple nights of fireworks before I got the thunder jacket, she literally was just trembling in the bathroom. She wouldn't come out for anything. And then I couldn't get her to go outside hardly because she is now anticipating that it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't a miracle, but I would say that overall, between that and the calming treat thingies I got, that she survived it better than some years. So.
Yeah, those fireworks that they did, the city did or whatever up there at the fairgrounds. Holy crap! That's probably the biggest and loudest I've ever heard up there.
Yeah, unfortunately, the direction they were from my house, there was this big wall of trees basically obliterating it. I could hear it.
Oh, yeah.
And I could see fragments of it, right? But so I knew it was going on, and it was very long too. I was like, wow.
That was a half hour. It was nuts.
But unfortunately, I was like, well, the trees are there. Oh well. So. But yeah, deep pressure helps some people with anxiety too, the weighted blankets and things like that. During the squeeze hug where you give yourself that deep pressure.
Oh yeah.
Is Brett back on the schedule this week, or?
Yeah, he came Monday. We went out a little bit, and then he came today. But he came he went over to buy a camper, and it's just down the street, Camper World or whatever. They usually have a big flag up somewhere. I don't see it, but so it's just right there. And he called me up and he's like, hey, they don't open till 9. Can I just come work with you now? And I'm like, sure. I was like, I'm kind of doing other stuff. So when he came over, he just stayed here because I wasn't supposed to go with him till 9.
Right.
So.
Just wondered if you've gotten that opportunity to push limits a little bit yet.
No, we should next week though. Because he came off that vacation right into a holiday week,
Right.
And
that's why I wasn't sure if you even would have seen him, because I know this week's been kind of wonky for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I saw him, and
maybe doing even if it's just a little bit of pushing, and then doing the progressive muscle relaxation, the things to relax your breathing and muscle once you get to that limit. I mean, that's part of how you give the signal to your brain and your body that, oh, hey, like, actually, we're okay right now.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed that half my problem is that when I started taking medication, I became like super aware again, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just kind of waiting to just generally calm back down, and it is like I don't care about certain things at all that I used to care about, and so I know things are happening.
Right.
I can't remember how many weeks it's been. I think we're at 3 weeks now or something. I have to call her on the 18th, and that'll be 5 weeks. So I think we're at 3 weeks right now. So of this
Mm-hmm.
new of the new dosage, and so she says you have to wait 6 weeks ish for the dosage.
Right.
But she just wants to make sure everything else is okay.
Right. I noticed in the med management note that it looks like she also gave you something as a PRN. I'm assuming probably not had to take that or tried to take that, or I don't know if that's accurate. Your chart says that you have the one I knew you started on, but it also says you have
Yeah,
a PR.
it's called Xanax, and it's for like if you have a panic attack.
Right.
I'm obviously not going to take that. But
I was like, there'd be no way to progressively work your way up with that, like, how you did almost that your own exposure therapy with the pill.
yeah, no, it's to put you out. If you're just out of control, and that's what we are worried about. Like if I took the pill and they just had a day-long panic attack because I was waiting for the pill to leave my system. So we just had that.
Right.
I mean, obviously, I can go throw it away. I don't give a shit. I'm never gonna take it.
But I mean, maybe in the meantime, just having the knowledge it's there would.
Yeah, there again, I think I would be more scared of taking it than I would of not taking it if I was even in the situation. Because then I would be like, well, what if this got worse?
That's fair.
So
Your brain would go into the what ifs.
a deep rabbit hole of what ifs. But I'll tell you, when I used to have panic attacks, I couldn't have thought, and so that's how I always describe it. Even though my thoughts were fast and racy, I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't concentrate on anything but the fear. And so what the pills did for me was I would pop a pill and then I could go, oh, there's carpet in here, or oh, there's so, and that's all I wanted was just that release from the overwhelmingness. And all it was is that it would make me kind of sick to my stomach because I just took a pill.
Right.
But I didn't realize that's all I kind of really needed to do. Not that I would want to be those people, because that's what a lot of people do, right? They self-medicate by cutting themselves or alcohol or drugs or something. I didn't know that if I, slapped myself in the face, that I probably would have felt better, But instead, I just curled up in the fetal position, and that was what I did. And sometimes that would last 3 or 4 days, at the time.
Right. I saw someone say they keep. I haven't put it to the test to have any idea, but one of the videos at some point where I was looking at like things that help get you into that calming system out of the sympathetic nervous system. Someone said they started carrying around like the little restaurant-sized like salt packets, because he's like, if I just put that in my mouth, you put it in your mouth at once, and that like kind of shocks you and gives you something else to focus on, and then you drink cold water, and that gives you another sensation to focus on because you gotta get the salt taste out of your mouth. I was like, I don't know how that would work in real life if it would just make someone, but I mean, this person was like, if you need to interrupt a panic attack, here's 10 tips that work, and that was one of them.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that work is submerging your head all the way, like to your neck, in ice water.
Yep, that one was in the video too.
Oh, you cannot panic while your head's in water. Like, it's kind of a cool little trick. Now, obviously,
Right.
I don't panic often, so I don't think about that. But it's like, oh, where am I going to get my bucket of water when I'm out?
Yeah, the salt one might be more feasible on the go.
Yeah, the real trick is to sit there and relax into it.
Right.
And once it goes away, because it can't last longer than maybe 25 minutes, then it's over. And then you feel good because you got a dopamine release on top of it.
Right.
That way you don't have to use a lot of, get out of trouble scenarios.
But there's a huge difference between head knowledge and, I don't know what you'd call it, heart knowledge. Like,
Yeah.
you know all of these things that can help, but obviously they're all easier said than done, because despite knowing so many tools, like actually being able to use them when it comes to that, pushing that further step.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, these things were like, oh yeah, that's so simple, but also not.
Yeah. And that's why it's a process and it takes time, and it's because you've got to get to the point where you can relax into it, or
Right.
else you're going to suffer with it the rest of your life, and nobody wants to do that.
I would hope not.
It's kind of poopy.
So if you do start trying to like go out or push things with Brett, like when you start seeing him next week, what is your first step or thought with that? Like, what would you do with him to kind of get that first push?
It's probably, since I don't know how the medication is, it's probably just kind of start and then just go and then sit and then wait and then go and then sit and then wait and go.
Right.
And on and on. Because the confidence, I would assume, will build up really quick. At least it did in the past.
Right.
With, and especially being on a drug that's probably going to stop most of the sensations, the body stuff. And that's usually what I'm mostly paying attention to. That it could just, move pretty rapidly. The thing is I don't push anything until it's ready, and so when I first started taking the pills, I didn't really push into anything because I'm like, okay, I got to wait 6 weeks. And then, and then I upped it and felt weird again for a minute. So then I knew that it was changing. And so now I take a pill and I don't feel any different. So now I feel the same every day. So now it's like, okay, now my life can start again.
Right.
I don't know if that makes any sense. But if I'm feeling different, I'm not doing what I normally do. And so my whole, everybody that knows me, because nobody knows, right, that I'm taking meds. But everybody that knows me is like, what the heck's been wrong with you the last 10 weeks? You're not doing anything. You don't even do dishes, and it's like, I'm getting there, like, I'm not going to tell them, but it's like, things are happening. I'm just, and so I was doing videos on, like making videos of me cleaning my yard and stuff. And I stopped in May. It was like May 5th. And so I have not done anything. I did mow finally the other day. But that's what I'm saying. Like, nothing's getting done. My girlfriend's like, "What is going on?" And my buddies and my daughter, she's like, "You should mow your yard or something." I'm like, "I'm not doing anything."
So even the people in like your closest inner circle don't really know that you're trying this?
You and my doctor. By the way, and the only reason she knows is because I told her person up front. So to be honest, she might not even know. The person up front might not have told her. I think her name's Hillary. Anyways, and Renee. So you, Renee. Oh, I did tell my daughter, so she knows. Okay. So Renee, my daughter, you, and hypothetically my doctor. In theory.
Right.
So that med report or whatever that you said you read, what is that?
Well, okay, so because I have access to your files since I work with you, I can see, I mean, it doesn't say very much, but anytime you have an appointment, we have to write a note. So it's basically the summary of the visit that the providers write. So like I can see if I go into your file, that's how I saw it, was because when I go into your file, I can see that it said you had a session with Renee on.
Yeah, on the dates. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then when you click on it, which I don't know if everyone clicks on it. I click on them sometimes to see what's going on with that, just because if I'm working with someone, it's kind of good for me to know, like, how that appointment went to. So it basically is just like a follow-up, medication follow-up. It briefly says, like, what's been going on or what they're addressing, and then it says, like, right now it says continue current medication, follow up in 3 weeks.
Right. Cool.
So it doesn't say a ton. It just kind of tells me, but that's where I could see, because it tells you current medications and it says start date, and so that's where I knew about the Zoloft, but I didn't know the Xanax was on there, so it's like, I don't think you take that or has taken that.
No.
But I saw that on there.
I mean, people might take it. I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like something you'd want to take every day or something.
No, I don't think anyone. It's typically only written as a PRN. I've never seen it written as like a daily medication, because it's meant to be like in those extreme, full-blown panic attack kind of situations.
Yeah, I'm good. So I don't think Brett will open that anyways, so.
And I don't know if they have access. I really wouldn't know that. I don't think that there's any reason that he would, because I don't know. I don't think very many people are like me and go, oh, let me see what the other, let's see what the other counselor was doing with him. Let's see. I read some of Sam?
Yeah.
Read some of his notes because I was just curious, like.
Go back and read some of Rob's notes. Those would be, you'd be like, holy crap.
Those would be interesting. The problem is that was before this EHR system. So I don't know what one they had then. They might have even still been on paper notes. So someplace there's like an archive with all the documents that I could go look at, but it's not one of the ones I can just pull up in here.
Right.
But I personally can see Brett's notes. I can see my notes, obviously.
You should
should
get my notes from Sanctuary and see how good of a job TR does. He's pretty amazing when that, like in organization and stuff. But
I mean, I would imagine those are somewhere too, because I would think when you transitioned, they would have requested your records.
Yeah, I don't know if they do. I think you have to do it, like, you know, because I know Sam didn't look at them, and you haven't looked at them, and I was like, that shit's important.
I mean, I don't have a way to look at them in this system. Right. They might be in the paper files or something.
Yeah.
I'd have to ask.
You can always call TR. He always said that too. He said, hey, you know, they can always call me and I can talk to them for a little bit because I am kind of a little bit more interesting. He'll tell you what you need to know.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that would be something that maybe I can have. Maybe I can have Brett bring out the release of information form to fill out, because I personally wouldn't be allowed to just call him unless I have the release of information, and those are only good for a year. So even if you signed one,
yeah, no, that's fine. I'll sign it. I'm good.
So I can maybe, if I ever get a hold of Brett, I don't see him at the office all that often, but I bet you I could kind of see about that.
Right.
And then also, I was seeing that according to, where'd it go? I feel like it's saying that your annual, like...
It comes up in about August.
Okay. Let me see. Because I thought I saw something that made it look like it was coming up soon, but maybe it wasn't until August. Let me see.
August is pretty soon.
I mean, it's pretty soon, but I thought like I saw it like, oh crap, I have to like do that next time.
Yeah, it's you guys always had a therapist call me and then we'd do a quick, you know, paperwork thing.
Right. Okay. Well, I will double check if there's something else somewhere I'm not seeing, because I see that one was done on 7/18/22, and if that's true, then it wouldn't need to get done this month.
Right.
I'll get back to you about that. I'll have to see.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I think that might mean that next week's session I might get whatever information I need to update that so it doesn't go, because if it expires on the 18th, like I won't see you on the 18th.
Yeah, but we're in 6, so it's 7/18. So.
Oh, 7/18. Wow.
Yeah. So you're fine.
Well, no, aren't we? Because we're in July.
Yeah, July. Is that 7?
Yeah, because next month is.
Oh, I guess it is
August.
7.
August is 8.
8. Yeah, August is 8.
Yeah. So I will see, especially because that following week I told you about the 18th, 19th, 20th. I'm going to be out because my sister's in town. So I can reschedule your appointment that week to Monday the 17th if you want to reschedule, or else I would.
I mean, that'll work if you have an opening.
Is there a time on Monday that would work best?
No, I mean, I'm good. Just whenever.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know exactly what hours on Monday yet because I'm still in the process of asking who wants to reschedule and who doesn't, and then I'll kind of put together the day from there. But yeah, I should have some openings that Monday, so I'll let you know. But so next time probably I will have just that CDA template open so that anything that would be renew things or change things, I can start getting that filled out. And then if I'm able to see you on the 17th, that would give us 2 sessions before the 7/18 when it's due, because just in case we don't fit everything in one. And then I will talk to Miguel, because I think he's the one that's been sending out like the digital version of paperwork, things that have to be signed.
Right.
So I'll kind of find out about that. For a while, it was changed to like the CDAs were supposed to be in person, but I know they've obviously had a different setup with you all this time, so I'm sure that they would just have me do it over. But I'll ask and find out some things and let you know when I see you next week.
Perfect.
Okay. And then you might look out for, if I do find out that yes, that's how it's going to happen, then I will send the email to the email address we have on file, that, you know, the thing you have to do every year where it's the annual paperwork that's online.
Right.
So
cool.
Look out for that email, and I shall see you next week.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Holla. Thanks for watching, guys.